Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Brown Boy Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Junaid Khan, also known as Brown Boy or Brown Boy Bodybuilder. And today I have a returning guest in the form of my younger brother, Nisar Khan. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we've got you back on the show again after a couple of months. It took a while to get you on, obviously commitments and stuff. Let's start off with yourself. Give us an update on how you've been since we've last seen you. What's been new? What's happened? Any new ventures? And just to give us a little update.
Well, nothing new. Just keep my head down. I've launched NSR, my new privately owned sports and popular culture website. That's going very well. We'll give you a link below. And yeah, we're just keeping focused. Fresh decade, fresh opportunities for everyone. I hope everyone else is doing good as well. It's 20th of January already. Look how quickly the decade's gone.
20 days into 2020.
Unbelievable. It's been fantastic so far, though. Absolutely fantastic. And keep up the great work. It's a pleasure to be here. You're doing very well. MashaAllah.
You know what? It's always nice to hear those kind words from your own blood. Did you set any goals for 2020? Did you set any things you wanted to do different for 2020 as opposed to 2019?
Not really, just to enjoy life and achieve as many things as I can. That's it. And just seeing records, seeing history, each obstacle, get there, break down the obstacle, keep breaking down obstacles until there is no obstacles left. And when there are no obstacles left is when I am 6 feet under.
Or in essence, I was going to add to that, when there are no obstacles left, you go and create another obstacle, because when we're not challenged in life, then there's no point really living, is there?
That's it.
So are you one of them people who doesn't really believe in like the whole New Year resolution
Oh,
hype?
I absolutely believe in it. I love it. I see it's just another fresh year another 365-day slate for you to put on what you can to achieve as much as you can. I mean, why not? Like, you want to look back on New Year's Eve in 2020 when we're about to go into 2021, saying, "Wow, look how far I've progressed." Whether it's financially, whether it's spiritually, whether it's physically, academically, get a new job, get a new promotion. There's so many things you can improve in your life.
So do you see it more so as like a comparison tool to what it was in yesteryear?
Definitely.
I think definitely they do help for, as opposed to looking back at the last year. I did a video, 7 lessons learned from
Yeah, I loved
2019.
it.
I feel like those lessons learned, if they're reversed, can actually be tips for 2020. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like a reversal of something you did wrong to then do it better for 2020. So yeah, as I was saying before I got rudely interrupted by a technical delay, was that in essence, the lessons I learned from 2019, it was almost a case for 2020 to reverse them. And then that's what I can do for 2020 going forward. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So going away from that, so we had a little thing. You did say about your new venture. I'm intrigued. I did find out briefly about it, but for the viewers, usually we plug things at the end, but for the viewers, we now have a chance to, give them a little update of what's going on. I'll put all the information below, obviously, but gives a little update as to how that materialized and really what it is and what are the visions going forward for it.
I thought new decade. I've had a good 6 years on Sporting Matrix, but I felt I needed something fresh, something where I can push content more around my name. Not really as an ego boost, just to case the content to me. So I've started posting more sports analysis, which I've focused on, a lot more social media interaction, sharing new music, and the ultimate goal is to build a media company that has a lot of different things. Just really, I can use my creativity. I can throw in YouTube videos, and of course, the central line will be sport. But NSR, those letters can sound or stand for anything, and I'll announce what they stand for over
Let me
time.
stop you there one quick time, and you can be as vague as you like about the answer to this question. But was there was there a hint of politics in your let's say your transition from the Sporting Matrix, your other company, to now NSR? Was there a hint of political matters? That is the question.
To answer your question, there wasn't a hint of politics. There was about a couple tablespoons worth of politics in there.
Oh,
But it is what it is. When you work together with family, it doesn't always work out. As you can see, as you may have been a witness to, it can get heated in there in the battlefield sometimes, or the house can turn into a battlefield when you're working with your family. So I thought it was best to step away. Let me run things how I did in June 2013, and here we are now, January 2020, back in full control. and I hold all the cards again, just like Conor does in the UFC.
Which we will be speaking about very shortly. Regarding that, so it's an entertainment company, so it's not just focused on sports; it's focused on
No,
everything. Is that what you said?
that's correct.
So you focused.
I was actually up last night watching the NFL, reporting on that as well. So, so it's a fun thing to do. I've really found my love for the game.
Yes, because you're very interested in music as well. You've inspired me to build a very good Spotify playlist. I always see you in the morning when I'm back home listening to music, getting yourself motivated, and I've kind of done that myself lately. I've been putting on music when I get up, and it kind of makes me want to do things in a sense.
Who's your top artist right now?
You know what? My top artist right now, it used to be M Huncho, but lately who has it been lately? You know what? I'll tell you who my top artists are. Those delivered to me by Spotify Discover Weekly. They really do hit the palette because they give me the artist I really want to listen to. In terms of what's my favorite song at the moment, even though it's quite an old song, I've been listening to that song by Young Fume for Clout.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah, Young Fume's very good. I believe he's very
good. Yeah, I like him. I'm just trying to think. Let me have a quick look. Because I've been listening to a specific song which I've really enjoyed lately. Let me have a look on my little gym playlist because that's where it's going to be.
It's in my Spotify playlist.
Yeah, another guy, Chris Cash. We listened to him.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
I think there's a lot of tunes you'll like that I play. Like you said, that Netflix and chill one that from Fred.
Yeah.
That tune is so hard, and I remember when I first heard that. Where did I hear it?
The gym. Yeah.
The workout.
I remember that.
Do you know what I mean? So anyway, going back to your NSR. So what's the plans for it then going forward? You said you wanted to build it into a multimedia entertainment company, which I think it will most likely do. Do you look at collaborations? I mean, look, you got me here, Brown Boy.
Yeah, of course. I'd say for the first few months we're gonna just try and build it, just push out lots of content, maybe make a few vlogs and stuff, just experiment with things. And yeah, of course, open to collabs. Of course, I do not have much expertise in the gym field, so that is one place we will look to acquire expertise in, aka Brown Boy. And we'll just look around. Of course, upcoming artists as well. We could plug them. That's the ultimate goal, just to provide a wide range of options for people to, pick and choose from. I want it to be like a pick and mix, like a kid in a candy store. You get to pick, a bit of sports, a bit of music. I'm trying to add some inspirational things there as well. Maybe some motivational videos or talks. We'll see how it goes, but it's a very exciting times for me, and I'm looking forward to it.
So I saw you doing a lot of mixes with music and stuff with your friends and stuff. So are you going to be like, or have you started publishing them on that website as well?
That is the ultimate plan as well. I'm just trying to perfect the beats that I'm creating, and that is another plan as well. Music production is something I'm working towards. It's a lot more difficult than you think, though. You can have one great beat and it can just be ruined by one thing you do.
One thing you do. And I will say right now, I'm going to use this opportunity to give a shout out to a certain individual called Raz. Now, if you don't know him, you don't know him, but I'm sure me and you both know him, Raz. And I feel you and him should do a little collaboration because, when he spits to music, it's quite good, isn't it?
I could send him a few beats. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and sit in the car with him and go for a little drive. Right, let's move on to what I really want to talk about today. Mr. McGregor. So he returned to the UFC. For all you guys who don't watch it, which I'm sure many of you do, he returned to the UFC with a 40-second knockout. He looked imperious, he looked slick, he looked in amazing shape, and he really looks transformed. What I want to start with is not actually the fight. I want to start with his transformation, because we were supposed to do this podcast before the fight, so I've produced a few questions based on that. His transformation really, really hit my heart. It made me realise he is actually a great guy. He's returned to the Conor of old. In a sense, it was almost like with the Khabib situation, a lot of, especially Muslims, started hating him. A lot of people started hating him, didn't like him. Even I thought he was a bit of an idiot. And now this transformation, tell me what you think of this, because to me it is absolutely astonishing in the sense of very motivating as well.
I thought Cowboy was in trouble the way McGregor's demeanour was over fight week. He was calm, he was collected. It was almost like a similar press conference to December 2015 against Aldo. He was calm, he was collected. It's almost as if he knew the world's watching. Now it's time to go out there. He sold the tickets. Conor McGregor's a big name now. I mean, he had a lot of that. 2019 for him was a tough year. You could tell he had the allegations, the court cases. Everything was He was in the
Not
headlines
going
for the
on.
wrong reason. There was no wonder he didn't make it to the octagon, and a lot of us didn't think he'd make it to the octagon at all. And then he comes back and he had to perform like he did, and he got the win, and now he's back where he was in a similar position in 5 years ago. He could fight anyone in the UFC right now, and he could get the biggest fight easily. But he's changed himself. He's transformed. I think we will see trash talk out of him, but there's no need to trash talk someone like Donald Cerrone. There's just respect there now.
Hmm. And going on to the fight, it obviously ended in 40 seconds. What were your views on that? Because he started off with a shot, which he missed, obviously. But then something he did, which was really, I'd say, unconventional, was when he got him in the clinch, he actually shouldered him, and he actually apparently broke his nose with his shoulder. That to me was startling. Like,
This
what a piece of skill.
this is what really separates the casual fans from the experts in the game, because everyone was shocked to see someone shouldering someone like that. But I mean, John Jones does it commonly in his fights. A lot of other people do it up against the cage. Conor's never done it, obviously, but he did do it there, and it can be effective. Obviously, Donald had no idea what was happening until his nose was plastered across the side of his face, and from there it was just a different technique. He decided to clinch with Conor. Conor hit the shoulders, and after that, when you're wounded against Conor, I don't care who you are, you're going to be stopped very soon.
Hmm. And what about the claims that Nate Diaz has come out with today or yesterday, that and many other fans have come out with, that the fight looked to have been fixed in a sense?
It's for me, it's pretty simple. Cowboy got stunned with either the knee that hit him in the first seconds or the shoulders. After that, he's backtracking, he's bleeding. So how did they fix that? Who knows? And then a head kick, and after that, Cowboy. It was a very similar Cowboy to what we saw against Dos Anjos a week after the Aldo McGregor fight. Cowboy had a big fight, a big title fight, and he got hurt by something early and he never recovered, and that was it. And it almost looked like he was giving up, but in that situation, you're in survival mode.
He was just essentially, he was like overwhelmed. It was just such a barrage of shot. But then don't you
Yeah.
think when he was in the tussle with McGregor, he could have avoided those shoulders, because the fact that he got knocked out, it was a real hard shoulder, wasn't it? Because not knocked out, sorry, his nose got broken. I mean that surely he could have I mean, does he not train for that? Do you know?
Well, it happened very quickly. I'm sure. So, I mean, I'm sure the first shoulder stunned him, but if he broke up straight away with his chin in the air, that could be worse. So, I mean, these are split second decisions that elite athletes have to make, and obviously they're not always going to be right. But just because they're not right doesn't mean it's been fixed. It just means it's an error, human error. Of course, human error happens in sport.
And coming up against a guy like McGregor, it's going to be very difficult because you have to be on your best and then some.
Yeah, that's correct.
And who's his next opponent going to be then? We've heard echoes of Pacquiao, for example, or we've heard echoes of Mayweather too. Put a little post up about it. Potentially Khabib if the Ferguson fight falls through. But who would you like to see him fight, and who do you think he will fight?
Well, unless Khabib and Ferguson falls through, I'd say the UFC should keep him till summer international fight week, July, for a big fight with Masvidal. I think that'll be a huge fight, and it'll be the fight before. If Conor wins that, he can either fight for the welterweight title, or he could fight the winner of Khabib Ferguson. So personally, he could fight in March, maybe against someone like Justin Gaethje or something. But I think to set up for international fight week, a big summer fight against Masvidal is the money maker for the UFC, and then Khabib can follow.
Sorry to interrupt. International Fight Week, that's in the summer, right?
Yeah, so that's when the biggest fights usually happen. For example, UFC 200. So it is a big summer event for the UFC.
Right.
And it's in Vegas. Like 189 when he fought Mendes, that was International Fight Week. The big summer
yes,
fight.
I remember the hype behind that. So yeah, but then what about these claims that he might be going into boxing? He says he has an unfinished business, obviously, with boxing, and I mean, personally, I don't know about you, but I don't really want to see him go back into boxing yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was to fight Pacquiao, I don't really know. Like, I don't think he'll win personally. If he fights Mayweather again, I think it'll be a good fight if it's promoted, but I don't think he'll win unless he is substantially better.
I think the Pacquiao fight will be interesting because obviously Pacquiao holds the WBA title, and Conor does want a world title. But for now, I think Conor has to deal with what he's got ahead of him in the UFC. Obviously, he wants a Khabib rematch. He wants to work towards that. And there's a lot of people calling out his name. Like, don't forget about Usman. We'll see how
Wasn't
that goes.
Usman potentially injured? Isn't he injured at the moment or not?
I believe he's waiting for, and depending on what happens with the UFC London main event and Masvidal and McGregor. I mean, they're all the cards on the table. It took a while for him to get his last fight scheduled with Colby Covington.
Hmm.
So we're in the money fight era where fighters are demanding um, more than they did before, and that's probably because of McGregor. That is the McGregor effect, I feel.
He's had a big effect on boxing on the fight game in general.
Definitely, yeah, huge.
Going across the pond now to boxing. Another huge fight next month. It's Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder, the rematch. Have you had a look at the press conferences? I mean, I haven't had a look at any
Yeah.
of them recently. What's been going on?
Well, we're just 1 month and 2 days away from it, and I'm just so excited already. You know, it's one of them fights that whatever happens, the world will be watching. Even if Fury's boxed Wilder's head off for 11 rounds, that 12th round, everyone's going to be watching to see if Wilder can land one of their bombs. And yeah, I feel they both know what it took out of them the first time, and both of them are being far more serious now. I know Wilder knows this won't be an easy knockout like he may have thought last year, and Fury also thinks that it will be much harder to expose Wilder. So I think we're going to get an even better fight than we did 1 year ago.
Who's going to win?
I'll say Tyson Fury by decision.
You really think that?
Yeah,
Despite the fact he said he doesn't believe he'll get a decision in America.
I think he can. He probably would have if it wasn't for the knockdown in the 12th round. I think he could maybe push for a late stoppage, but it's risky against Wilder. So I would say he should get on his bike for 12 rounds. He could maybe stop Wilder late, but again, Wilder's dangerous. You know, you don't want to risk it. You know, you
Hmm.
hang in the pocket for one more second than you should be, and you could be staring at the lights.
Gone. That punch is absolutely devastating. It's probably the most devastating punch I've ever seen in
But I have a lot of
boxing.
respect for Wilder
Um,
as well, so I'm hoping for the best. And obviously, if Fury does beat Wilder, we probably will get the third fight in the summer.
you reckon it will be that quick?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. So with Fury, is he as motivated now for this fight, do you think, as he was when he first came? Because I haven't watched the press conferences, like I've said, but I've read a few things, and a part of me feels like he's almost a little less on it than he was before.
I've not read anything about that personally, but you never know until he's in there. I mean, he had a good war against who was it after Tom Schwarz?
That Otto guy, wasn't
Otto Wallin, yeah,
it?
and
Yeah.
he was in trouble in that fight, you know, with the cut and all. But he got through it. He showed the heart. I think that would help him more for a Wilder fight than Wilder's win against
Mm.
Ortiz. Both of them, you know, they learned a lot though. I think these fights perfectly primed them for the rematch now. They've gone off. They've had
Mm.
two big wins each, and we'll see where we go from there.
And what do you see as like the big fights in both UFC and boxing and even I don't know what other sports you watch, but let's just talk the fight game. Give us five big fights you want to see in the next 5 years.
Next 5 years.
Five big
Okay,
fights in the next 5 years.
okay, so we'll get two out of the way. The heavyweights, AJ versus Fury and AJ versus Wilder. I
Hmm.
feel we need to see the heavy all the heavyweights. Those three heavyweights should fight each other. That has
They
to
need to
happen.
fight each other. Yes, definitely,
I think we need to see McGregor versus Masvidal. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I want to see that as well.
to be fair, McGregor versus Habib too as well. I want to see that just to either erase the doubt or maybe Conor gets revenge. Because imagine in Moscow or it
That would
will
be
be a
amazing.
spectacle, you know. Hopefully we'll see Ferguson Habib in April, barring an
Mm.
unlucky pullout. Um,
Maybe McGregor Diaz free.
Potentially as well. I was gonna say Canelo versus Callum Smith, the
Right, give us
British.
a bit more. Give us a bit more information about these two. I know a lot about Canelo. I don't really know much about Callum Smith. But give us a bit of information on why you want to see that fight. A little background into both of them as well, if you can, only so the viewers can know, and even so you can school me a little bit as well.
Well, the first is that it could be the fight that Canelo comes to the UK for. Obviously, he's one of the biggest stars in boxing, if not the biggest star. Um, and him fighting, I think Callum Smith will pose dangers for him. I don't know if he's at Canelo's level, but it will definitely be a big fight for us in the UK as a British fight fan. I'd love to see that.
Mm.
And I've also loved to see Lomachenko versus Gervonta Davis. That would be another one of their big. Again, this is they may not attract the highest of casual fans, but
But
they're
for the
going to be big
fighting fans,
fight fans. I
yes.
would love it.
It's more so for the fighting fans. I definitely think that. Like the fights you're saying now, I don't know much
Oh,
about
and
them. But when
I'd love to see Adesanya versus Jones in the UFC. I think that will happen maybe
yes,
2 years down the line. Let Adesanya clear out the middleweight division, put on some size, and then we'll see if that happens.
do you reckon Cormier will fight Jones again, or is that deaded now?
I think the direction they're going to go in is Cormier Stipe 3, and I think Cormier will retire after that fight, regardless of the result.
Because he beat Stipe in the first fight, right? And he lost
Yeah,
in the second.
yeah. I think
Right,
that
okay.
they are the direction is for that third fight, and it'd be good to see DC retire with the belt. I don't know if it's worth fighting Jones again. At this age now, time's gone on a bit now, so
He looks like. I kind of feel if he retires, having not beaten Jones, that will hurt him.
it will
But
hurt him.
at the same time, he doesn't. I don't think he can actually beat him.
At heavyweight, I think he's got a bigger chance, but we'll see what Jones is like at heavyweight if he does fight at heavyweight.
It's just that kick, buff. That
Yeah.
kick, that's going to knock anyone out.
Oh, and of course, I'd love to see Aldo versus Cejudo, which might happen in May for the belt.
Did
Because if
Aldo lost? He lost recently, right? Or did he win?
yeah, he lost, but it was a very controversial decision. A lot of people thought he would have won, which is why he's in talks with Cejudo to fight for the bantamweight belt in Brazil, which will be a spectacle.
Is a
I might have to
bantamweight
fly. I
below
might
the
have to fly there
featherweight?
myself. Yeah, it goes flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight,
So he's gonna have
welterweight.
to cut. He's gonna have to cut even more, or did he cut for
Well,
that weight recently?
he cut for that recent fight.
It was grueling, I heard.
It was grueling, but he looked good. He did look good in the fight.
Really?
So
Okay. Okay, so yesterday, a certain Alison Becker kicked the ball. I love this moment. I was watching.
yeah,
A certain Alison Becker kicked the ball for an assist, and Mo Salah slotted home for 2-0, and Alison went and celebrated
as
with
Salah took
Liverpool
his shirt
players.
off and celebrated with the fans. I think that's one of them iconic moments. It's almost as iconic as when Gerrard kissed the camera when we beat United at Anfield. Was it at Old Trafford though? We beat them.
I think that was I was actually thinking about it yesterday. That was when United lost 4-1 against Liverpool
Yeah,
at Old Trafford.
yeah, that was it. Yeah,
And a
and
certain Andrea Dossena scored. I remember that.
it was one of them special moments. I thought, City just drew, Leicester lost. It was one of them moments where okay, something
I
special's
mean,
happening.
that game was really nerve-wracking, wasn't it?
It
And the
was,
second
yeah.
half for Liverpool.
I loved just how it all went out. The early lead for us, United came at us. They were causing us problems, and then we just cut them off at the end. Just that kill shot. It was beautiful stuff.
Is the title coming to Liverpool? Do you really think, as an individual, and I understand what Jurgen Klopp says, he will say, of course, it's not one yet. There's one game at a time, and I think he's totally right about that. Liverpool have had many slip-ups in the past. Even I, as a person who really does like Liverpool, am not saying we've won it yet because they haven't won it yet. It's still a long way to go in
Still
34
a long way to go. It is only
But
January.
but is it going to happen? Like, let me ask you now. I asked you this last year and it hurt, but it was harsh last year. Let's be honest, a 1 point difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it going to happen?
I have faith that it will, but I'm just trying to enjoy every game as it happens now. We're witnessing a legendary team here at Liverpool. I feel, and I'm
Are
just.
they the greatest team ever?
They could be. Ask me that in May. Ask me that in May. We'll see. Because right now we are playing like one of the best teams ever. We're with one of the iconic teams. The Barca's from 2011 or the Barca with Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. We're playing at that level. So as a fan, it's just enjoying it and taking one game at a time. Every time I'm checking the table, all right, next game. It's always that focus. And of course, Atletico in a couple of weeks as well, or next month.
That's going to be a big game. I think what Klopp's done is he's built a group of winners.
Yeah.
Like United, they were talking about United's recruitment compared to Liverpool's. And if you look on paper, United have actually recruited the better players in terms of their name, but they've never worked out. Whereas Liverpool have recruited players like Wijnaldum, who used to play for Newcastle, got relegated. Okay, he's made him into a star player. He's had Henderson, who he didn't obviously buy him, but he made him into a better player.
Yeah.
Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, they weren't like top players. Roberto Firmino.
Yeah.
Who would tell you when Roberto Firmino was bought by Brendan Rodgers for 34 million that he would become one of the best strikers in Europe? You would never think that.
No, never.
Do you know?
Same with Sadio Mane. Like, of course, he was doing well at Southampton, but you never thought he would be like a Ballon d'Or contender. It's crazy.
Absolutely crazy, and I think it's testament to the mentality Klopp has instilled. He, like I said, when they lost last year for 1 point, they still went and won the Champions League.
Yeah, I love
They had
that.
these near misses. They lost the UEFA Cup before, and we were all saying, "Nah, Klopp's got to go," because he keeps losing in the big moments. But it's suddenly shifted. And I think Van Dijk's obviously helped that. He's completely changed the club, his defensive abilities.
Yeah.
And they almost looked like a team. Now, what I got from it yesterday was this. When Alisson kicked that ball out and they scored, like it's just happening every single week. This keeps happening for Liverpool. They keep winning. They find a way to win.
Yeah,
And if
that's it.
anything, lately they're keeping clean sheets again as well.
Yeah, and this is what I'm really like loving now. The fact that seeing us win, 2-0, 1-0, 3-0, the clean sheet is just, it's that extra topping. It's like, right, we are doing something here, and you know, I'm sure as an Arsenal fan you must feel a threat to the Invincibles, but that's very early to talk
Do you
about
know
right
what?
now.
Do you know what? I hope they do it. I really do like Liverpool as a club, and I don't. It's not about that. To be honest, when you see a good team, you salute them. And the unbeaten record is unbelievable. I'd love it if they went drawn one and lost none for the whole season and
Yeah,
got like 110 points,
yeah,
112 points. I think that's unbelievable, bruv. Like that is remarkable. Like the fact that they've drawn one game and won 21, I think 22. That's sensational. After what they've put it into perspective, after what they've come through, after
yeah.
losing in like how they did last year,
We
and
lost the
they
Premier League by
took City
one point. Yeah, it's
97 points. That's the highest ever runner-up amount, you know. And then they were out down and out against Barcelona, but they came back, and all of this is just building into them. And I really hope they
yeah,
do go far. If anything, I hope they go far because of Jurgen Klopp,
yeah.
because I've always rated
Absolutely.
him as a manager.
I think
His
he
metallic
deserves it.
energy.
I think he deserves it. And obviously the job's not done yet, so we just have to keep taking every game as it comes.
One game at a time. That's what he says, and that's
Absolutely,
what
yeah,
I believe as well.
yeah.
So, what do you reckon? I know it's a bit of a bold question to ask. How many points will they get? Currently, I think they're sitting on about 63 or 64. How much will they get? And how much do you want them to get?
Of course, I'd want them to get what is the 110 marks, but even over 100 would be incredible.
Yeah, if they get that over 100, I think that'll be
Uh,
sweet.
Even if we reach our last season tally, I mean, we've got a lot of room for error now, which is not reason for us to be complacent, but reasons for us to enjoy our football more now. And like I said,
Mm,
the United game, while it was a bit stressful when United were on the pounce, it would just be a draw if they scored, and we did feel in control. It's a different feeling now. It's we getting used to winning, which is good, and it's something to be grateful for.
and the fact is that you've won 3 trophies already this season, or 2 trophies, sorry, and one last season is they know how to win. And I think their recruitment, going back to their recruitment again, has been sensational. I mean, you've bought the best goalkeeper probably in the world with Alisson. I mean, look at that yesterday. He created the assist. He's just always there, Alisson. You know he'll back you.
Yeah, very reliable.
Okay. And then you've got Virgil van Dijk. Like he is just so composed and calm. His header was beautiful. I don't think the goal should have been chalked out, to be honest. You see that second goal where
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
they got chalked out? I don't think that should have been chalked out. It's a great finish from Firmino, but like when you got Van Dijk, you just trust, and then you got Alisson
yeah.
behind him. So if Van
As
Dijk doesn't work, you got
It's just
Alisson.
nice watching a game and seeing Van Dijk, at the back with I think him and Gomez's partnership is brilliant.
He's
It's
doing very
fantastic.
well now, isn't
Yeah,
it? And that's what Klopp wanted from the beginning, and now finally it's working because Gomez had a few injuries, I think,
yeah.
and now it's finally working. They're coming
And
into it.
Gomez has really become his like second in command to Van Dijk. It's brilliant.
He's learning a lot from him, and he's an English centre back as well, so that
Yeah,
could
that's
bode
true.
well for the English team.
I think not enough people are talking about that actually. Having Gomez and Trent could be very good for us in the Euros in the summer.
Mm. So who do you reckon's going to finish in the top four then? Like, let's just say Liverpool win the league, okay? I'll say
With the
City come second,
I think
Leicester third, or are they dropping off because they're losing a lot lately?
Leicester.
Chelsea are losing too, and they're fourth.
I'd say Leicester and Chelsea will, but I think it'll get tight around that area.
Hmm. I wouldn't bet on it, but I would say watch out for Sheffield United. They really are knocking on the door down that them ends, and I'm not
I
saying
do rate what they're doing. I do rate what they're doing.
I don't say they'll get top four, but I'm just saying that like Chelsea keep dropping points, stupid points, okay? And Leicester are dropping points again lately. United, they're a bit mismatched. I don't know, maybe United could get it as well. I do think they could sneak in. Um, I wouldn't say Arsenal would get it, unfortunately, as an Arsenal fan. I just don't think we're there yet. We've got a few seasons of rebuilding to do. Um, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I'll be happy if Liverpool win the league, to be honest.
Inshallah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we've talked about a lot of things today. I'm pretty much looking at wrapping up now. Was there anything you wanted to add before we end this podcast, which has been a very enjoyable one? We've spoken a lot about sports, about fighting. We've kind of kept it quite simple, which is good. So is there anything
Just
you want to
about what your goals are for 2020, because I'm trying to see everyone achieve. And of course, if you're watching this, comment below on your goals for 2020 as well. If you're watching, I feel everyone should work together to achieve their goals.
inspire each other?
Yeah, that's what it's about, really. There's going to be, let's swear on this.
Do whatever you want to say,
There's going to
bro.
be, dickheads who will try and, write you off or mock you for, aiming high. But of course, people are given mindsets for a reason. If you're given a mindset where you want to achieve, I feel you're blessed, as in you're blessed to have that opportunity and to be able to see a world in a different way. So you should
Mhm.
share it, and that's what you should do.
Definitely.
You should make the most out of it. You get to see the world in a different way. It's like, imagine if you see you have vision goggles that you can see things around you that don't actually exist or that other people can't see, or like different frequencies, hearing like different things like cats can hear. Different pictures and stuff like that.
They can see ghosts, can't they?
You never know. No wonder our cat is tripping out all the time.
Yeah, no, it's very I echo some of the things you just said there. Really, for 2020, for me is to I really want to keep on top of these videos. I really do enjoy the
That's
regularity of
good.
it. I
Yeah.
start getting more subscribers lately. Start
Good.
getting
Good.
people with more views. So have more fun times with people. Spend more time with others. Have some good fun times. Meet new people. I've met a lot of people lately. Keep growing. Keep expanding, and be bold. It's not about always being Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah. That's
People,
true.
if certain people need to be cut off and told how it is, you best believe I'm gonna fucking tell them. You know what I'm
Good.
saying?
Good. That's good. That's
So,
very good.
and yeah, ultimately that live each day. I had a real insight yesterday. I was let's just say slightly on cloud nine, for those of you who understand what I mean by that. And I had an insight, and this was there's the guiding force watching over your life. So live in the moment, so much so that each moment you are living in, you can get the most out of it. Because we're always, or me, seem to live in the past or the present. Sorry, the past or the future.
Yeah.
But the now moment is what creates both of those realities.
That's what
So
links
really
it together.
to
Yeah.
exactly. So really focus on the now moment. Like look at this bed sheet here. I'm speaking to you on a video call. You're in another area. Like all these little things we have here. Instead of thinking, oh, what's my next meal going to be, or how am I going to edit this video, I should be thinking of like the now. And I don't even have to think of it. It's a natural tendency. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
Yeah.
it's there.
It's like mindfulness and being grateful can be locked together. Really. You've got
Exactly.
look at all the facilities around me. Like I've got a roof over my head. I've got everything I need really to live. So that's why you should also make the most out of it. We've been given a good opportunity here. We should make the most out of it, which is why you're doing good here. I'm trying to do good, trying to create things for people to lift
Definitely.
people really, and also lift myself as well. You know that you can always say it's about fame, numbers, this that. That's not what really matters. What matters is the currency. I feel is the good deeds. You can have your currency can be good deeds in the world. It's
Definitely.
that's acquire wealth that way, and everything else will sort itself out.
Definitely. And yeah, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you again today. I feel like this conversation has been, even if you guys watched the last one, just compare the two. I feel like this has been such a natural conversation.
Yeah,
This is how we
absolutely.
usually speak at home. Obviously, we were just getting used to the podcasting back then, but
I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't worry. I'll be back.
definitely going to get you on more. Give us a motivational or a quote of some sort you'd like to give to the audience as a wrap up.
Thinking of a quote on the spot. I'll,
You
s-
can Google one if you want, whilst I'll read one out that I've got up here.
well, I'll just yeah.
Okay, I'm going to read one out whilst you look for one or think of one. My quote is by the great Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nothing is more simple than greatness. Indeed, to be simple is to be great. Simplicity in life is what will make you great. So, however you interpret that, however you look at that as an individual watching this, just realize that your greatness is in your own hands and it doesn't need to be as complicated as you think it needs to be. So, look into Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's my G. Self-reliance, very good essay. On to you, sir.
It's one I saw on a YouTube video a few days ago. It's it's quite a specific one, but it's
Go for it.
the tasks that you don't want to do in your life. For example, doing an assignment or going to work in the morning. That's your opportunity to demonstrate excellence in life. For example, you may not want to go to work, or you may not want to go to every lecture at uni
Mhm.
or complete this assignment, but that is the actual opportunity for you to demonstrate excellence, and you can find the fun in it as well. Like that's what I was doing. I have an assignment now. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to try and do it to an excellent standard.
Best of your
Achieve
ability, yeah.
excellence. It's more of a challenge now. That's what I see a lot of things in my life now. I'm doing them just as a challenge. It's there. It's a goal to be conquered. So treat every moment in your life, not just even the hard bits. Every moment, just chase that excellence, and it will become. You'll watch your life change in front of your eyes.
In essence, have pride in what you do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you remember there's a guy who used to watch quite a lot called Greg Plitt?
Yeah. Rest in
This was
peace.
his central tenet, man. He kind of said, when you do something and your name's attached to it, put some meaning into it, man. It's your name attached to that motherfucking thing, man. Have some
Correct.
fucking pride. Do it to the best of your ability. And doing it to the best of your ability doesn't mean you don't fail. Doesn't mean you don't fuck up. It doesn't mean that it goes wrong. It just means you gave it your all and you're willing to learn and do it again. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't worry if shit goes wrong. Just get up and try again, ultimately. And
Absolutely.
that's what I'll end the show. But thank you for coming on. And we'll see you once again. God bless.
It was a
Peace and
pleasure.
love.
Happy New Year, everyone.